Do you want 250 to 300 knowledge points and have some insanely profitable professions? Because they are there for the taking. It is absolutely crazy to get this done, but the amount of gold it's worth could be completely off the scale. We have our world first complete Dragonflight profession, absolutely every knowledge point allocated. Everything I talk about in this video comes from either the Reddit post that DirtGod did on Reddit, which is linked in the description below, or a conversation that we had on Discord. This insane feat was achieved by dirt farming for Dragon Shards for 8 hours a day for 6 weeks. During the video I'm going to show you the dirt farming routes he used, but you can also find them on the Reddit post too. You can see he used shard hopping to quickly switch between realms to be able to then run around and grab more dirt on the same route. He said he mostly farmed in whichever zone the world boss was up, as this gave him the easiest way to realm hop, as groups for the world bosses are up all the time. I have done some pretty insane things in my time to achieve some crazy stuff I have pulled off in my gold making, but this makes me look like a right amateur. DirtGod reports that the drop rate of Dragon Shards from dirt is around 1 in 300. This means these things are super rare, but because he's been able to max out his profession, there is effectively no cap on how much you can progress your profession if you want to. Even if you are behind and your profession is not profitable, this means that with enough farming that you can potentially push it back into profitable territory. This is great, but we all have to be careful here. This was insanely time consuming. If you're behind with your profession, yes, you could indeed catch up and take over your competition, but is it even worth it? Firstly, could you just make more gold doing something else with how long this would take? Secondly, yes, you're farming like crazy to catch up to your competition, but some of them will now also be spamming dirt for Dragon Shards to get even further ahead of you. You could sink loads of time into this and make your professions profitable and then get to spend weeks and months crafting at a profit, and that would be absolutely great. Equally, you could spend all that time farming shards and not feel like you've made any progress at all, as those ahead of you have just done the same. The choice is completely down to you as to if you think it's worth your time to do this. A question that's popping up a lot is, should this even be allowed? Should professions be time gated, or should you be allowed to farm out as much knowledge as you want? Just a note here that this guy is my direct competition and put me out of business, so if anything I have a bias against this. My main profession is engineering and he's on the same region as me. Of course, the world first maxed out Dragonflight profession turns out to be my direct competitor. There is no way I could compete with this level of farming, but I generally think that you should be able to do this. Think of it on the other end of the scale. Your professions may currently be unprofitable, but you're still probably ahead of maybe 90% of the player base if you're taking the time to watch a gold making video. You're ahead of that 90% of the player base because you did your weekly quests, farming scout packs for the 2 knowledge every reset, killed certain mobs every week, etc. That 90% of the player base may complain that they shouldn't need to do all the things that you've been doing to keep your profession ahead of theirs, just like you might complain that they shouldn't be able to endlessly farm Dragon Shards. Maybe they just want 2 weekly quests, and that should be the knowledge cap. That makes it really easy for everybody to hit cap every single week. Even if it's something that I have absolutely no way to compete with, I would much rather us have the ability to farm out professions if we really want to. If we are all time gated and unlock everything at the same time, we literally all make no gold from it whatsoever. One example of everyone being the same when it came to crafting was the Zereth Mortis crafting marks. A very select few managed to unlock these a day early, but 99.9% of the player base unlocked these at the same time on the first weekly reset. The market literally became worthless in a couple of hours. We may look at the people who make millions and millions because they got ahead, but it's not millions we could have had if we couldn't have done the same grind. If everything was time gated and we all unlocked everything together, it would be worthless for all of us, like with the Zereth Mortis crafting marks. Anyway, congrats DirtGod, I could never compete with your insane farming patience. You have no doubt put the only profession I'm currently taking seriously out of business. I'm still really happy that you had the opportunity to be able to do this, as it is much better than us having time-gated garbage that basically means we all have almost identical unprofitable professions. If you want an easier way to try and farm these, Mantheus has just done a video about farming rares for Dragon Shards. I have linked that video as a pop-up, which you should be seeing now, because basically I'm too lazy to do a rare farming video on my own. Thanks for watching guys, and see you next time.